Padres take a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the first.
Xander Bogaerts set the tone early, a 3-run home run in the bottom half of the first inning as the Padres go on to beat the Angels in the rubber game of this 3-game series here in downtown San Diego by a final score of 5-1. Sam Levitt with you on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show from inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. Hey, player, when it comes to giving you what you want, Jamul Casino Resort isn't playing around. It's way more than a place to game. It's a place where you can stay and play in every possible way. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Well, the Padres do a very nice job after a rough loss on Monday, bouncing back with a win in the middle game of this series last night and another win in the rubber game of this series here today. Xander Bogaerts, the early 3-run home run. For most of the game, that was the only offense the Padres had. Brandon Lockridge, a big 2-out, 2-run single in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And the other big story in this game, Randy Vasquez, 6 innings, 1 run given up on 4 hits. He picks up the win. The bullpen, a nice bounce back for them. Everybody very good, from Alec Jacob to Adrian Morejon to Robert Suarez, with the scoreless 9th inning in a non-save situation. And the Padres win 2 out of 3 from the Angels. They improved to 27-15. It was Xander who had the big home run against Kyle Hendricks in the first inning. I caught up with the X-Man on the field right after tonight's win.
Xander, let's start with the home run, a 9-pitch at bat against the right-hander in Kyle Hendricks that pitches a little bit differently than most guys in Major League Baseball right now. How were you able to win that at bat?
I think I saw a lot of his pitches, his fastball and changeup. The other at bats, he started bringing out the curveball a little bit more, but that bat in particular, I just think I saw a lot of his pitches, and I was on time and reacted pretty well.
Randy Vasquez, 6 strong innings in this game. How have you seen Randy's development over the course of the past couple of years?
I mean, especially when he falls behind in the count, he seems to find a way to come back in the count. 3-0 count today to Darno, and 3-1 strike, and then pop up, to short. So I feel like he's just been able to, regardless if maybe he's not having his best stuff, just being able to try to execute the best as possible.
A really tough loss on Monday night, but you find a way to bounce back. 2 straight wins to win this series against the Angels. What is the significance of bouncing back the way you did after what was a rough Monday?
Yeah, these guys battle, they probably aren't playing the way they would want, but they show a lot of fight, for a team that maybe is not playing the way they want to. They show a real lot of fight, and I guess one of the best goals in the game. They did that. They were very patient. They were waiting for the pitches, and they had a good win. But, yeah, we won the series, and that's all that matters.
Xander, as always, thanks so much. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Xander.
That was Xander Bogaerts after tonight's 5-1 win against the Angels as the Padres win 2 out of 3 from the Angels. Bogaerts with his 3rd home run of the season, that 3-run shot against Kyle Hendricks in the bottom half of the first inning. When we come back, we'll have all the radio highlights for you. We'll recap this game from start to finish. We'll also hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to come on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. You're listening to the Padres Radio Network.
Tony Gwynn Jr. here. Upgrade
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score on this Wednesday night, the Padres 5 and the Angels 1. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. Plenty of folks still here, finishing up their beers, enjoying some nice conversation. It was reversible bucket hat night here at Petco Park, a sold-out crowd as the Padres continue to pack this place each and every night. Everybody enjoying the bucket hat giveaway, and everybody treated to a good game here tonight as the Padres win it 5-1. Padres improved to 27-15. The Angels dropped to 17-25 on the season. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We'll also have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, our daily awards, your phone calls, and much, much more. Let's recap this one from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Randy Vasquez began the proceedings tonight with a 1-2-3 top of the first inning. Veteran right-hander Kyle Hendricks took the mound. In the bottom half of the inning, Luis Arai singled, Manny Machado singled. There were 2 on and 2 out for Xander Bogaerts.
3-2, Bogaerts swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. This one way back, gonna go! 3-run homer, Xander Bogaerts. And the Padres take a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the first.
Xander's third home run of the season. In the top of the second, it was the Angels' Taylor Ward.
This one sent in the air, straightaway center field, pretty deep. Merrill's going back, he's on the track, he hops up, and he made the catch. Might have put the glove over the wall in center field. Yes or no? No, a home run. Merrill couldn't get it. And Taylor Ward gets it right over the glove as the ball carried out to straightaway center, and it is a home run.
And that made it a 3-1 Padres lead in the second. Ward's second home run of this series. That's all Randy Vasquez allowed in the second. From that point on, both starting pitchers really settled in. Vasquez got in the jam in the top of the third. Runners on first and third with 2 men away, but he struck out Yoan Moncada to end the inning. Vasquez then retired the side in order and struck out 2. In the fourth inning, he worked around a leadoff single. In the fifth, he worked around a 2-out single. In the sixth inning, Randy Vasquez went 6 strong innings in this game, giving up just the early solo home run. Meanwhile, Hendricks was also great after he gave up the early homer. He got through 6 innings while giving up just 3 more hits through 6. So the Padres still led just 3-1. Going to the 7th inning, right-hander Alec Jacob came in. He issued a 1-out walk, but then got a big double play ball to end the inning. We went bottom 7. Lefty Reed Detmers came in for the Angels. Padres did put 2 on base, but they did not score. Padres still led just 3-1. Going to the 8th inning, Adrian Morejon pitched a quick and easy top of the 8th. That brought us to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Jose Fermin came in for the Angels. The Padres rallied. They loaded the bases with 2 men away. It was Brandon Lockridge at the plate.
Cronenworth at first, Bogaerts at second, Machado at third. Here's the 0-1 pitch, swung on, lined, and over the head of Neto in a left center base hit. Machado scores, Bogaerts on his way. Brandon Lockridge, a 2-run single.
A big 2-run single for Brandon Lockridge made it a 5-1 Padres lead. Big insurance runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It was Robert Suarez who came in the top of the 9th inning. Not a save situation, but you could argue, especially with an off day tomorrow, a very good spot for Robert after what was a very rough Monday night. He got Yoan Moncada to pop out. Jorge Soler struck out. The game was left up to the Angels' Taylor Ward.
Bases empty, 2 down. 2-2 to Taylor Ward. Suarez ready. Here's the pitch. It is on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Robert Suarez bounces back with a 1-2-3 9th inning. And the Padres take this series from the Angels with a very satisfying 5-1 win here tonight.
Very satisfying indeed. Padres win it 5-1. Final totals here tonight for the Padres: 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors. For the Angels, 1 run, 4 hits, and 1 error. Winning pitcher Randy Vasquez, he was very good. 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 5 on a grand total of 90 pitches, 55 for strikes. Kyle Hendricks was solid, gave up just the 3-run home run to Bogaerts. He went 6 innings, and the Padres improved to 27-15 on the year. Angels dropped to 17-25 as the Padres win a series against the Halos, and they'll now have an off day tomorrow before welcoming in the Seattle Mariners for the start of a 3-game series on Friday here in downtown San Diego. We'll step aside. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay
Welcome back to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show here on the Padres Radio Network, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. Still some people here inside the loft finishing up their beers, having a good time on this Wednesday night. Why not treat it to a great ball game here tonight as the Padres win it 5-1. It was Xander Bogaerts, an early 3-run home run that set the tone, gave the Padres an early 3-0 lead. Angels got a home run from Taylor Ward to make it 3-1. The score stayed 3-1 all the way until the bottom half of the 8th inning when Brandon Lockridge hit a 2-out, 2-run single to make it 5-1. And the other big story here tonight, Randy Vasquez, really solid. 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 5, walked 1 on 90 pitches. The bullpen between Alec Jacob, Adrian Morejon, and Robert Suarez combining for 3 scoreless innings. And the Padres getting what you felt like they kind of needed here tonight, just a quick and tidy win, took an early lead, and the pitching did the rest in front of nearly 44,000 in the building here tonight, the 18th sellout of 2025. So a sold-out crowd, and they were treated to a good one here in downtown San Diego. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park and here's some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Mike, what have you seen from Randy these last, say, 3 starts?
Yeah, he's been really good. Him and Malty are working really well together. Controlling counts, moving the ball around. He's pitching. He's changing speeds. The cutter's been good. Got it working a little bit later today. Really effective for him, getting up barrels, and controlling counts, getting lead outs. He's pitching really well.
I mean, you guys have had such confidence in him since you got him. How much of this is like him going, oh yeah, I can throw strikes and get guys out in the zone? Yeah,
I think that's, I think he clearly feels that. I think he feels like he can get outs and strikes. So I'm looking in the big leagues, you pretty much have to. And he's not a big swing and miss guy, but he makes, like I said, gets up the barrel, a lot of soft contact, controls counts, works both sides of the plate, up and down. He just pitches and gets guys out of their rhythm. Would you think make it tonight's game? You score in your first at bat, your last one, and let your pitching, as it has so often this year, do its job? Yeah, I mean, it was well said. I mean, it was the recipe. Good big swing by Bogey. Manny gets his 500th run as a Padre. That's quite an accomplishment. I think it places him 3rd all time in that category, so that's cool. But yeah, Bogey, what a nice swing, staying down through the ball. He's driving baseballs all over the ballpark. We got it out of the ballpark tonight for the 3 runs, and for Locke to be able to, get that 2-out knock, just get us some insurance in the 8th for the 9th was, a big swing. The bullpen you mentioned really, really good. I've said, and it's just, it's just right, it's just accurate that, we have some guys down today, and good bullpens have guys that can, if you happen to be down, they can keep it there. When you're fresh, guys that can bring it home. And when you have a couple guys down like we did tonight, you have the guys that can step up and bring it home too. And Jacob was really good. Morion was fantastic. He's been one of those guys that has helped bring us home. And of course, Suarez, 1, 2, 3. So well done by the bullpen. Well played game. Good series win.
What does it say to you that on a night like this, you get 5 runs knocked in by the lower half of your lineup?
I consider Bogey to be in the middle of the lineup. But yeah, I mean, he's hitting 5th, but I think, I think of Bogey. That's also a great point, actually, that, we do have Bogey hitting 5th, some nights 6th, been on the lineup. But if you're having that guy hitting that part of the order, you're got a pretty good offensive club, pretty good lineup. And we do get contributions from the bottom of the lineup tonight. Locke stepped up. But we've gotten contributions. Diaz has had a lot of really good at-bats and turned the lineup over. And, big walk last night that, set up Toddy for his drama. So, yeah, that's what good lineups do. They have contributions 1 through 9 and off the bench.
Not that this is anything new for Manny, but his kind of ability this year to take what's given to him, hitting the ball to all fields. And what have you noticed about that stood out about the way he's gone about that?
Yeah, you're talking about a dangerous hitter who's gotten even more dangerous because now he's just not chasing. He's not going to get himself out. So guys are going to run from him a little bit, rightfully so. The guys behind you can hurt you, obviously, but he's just not going to get himself out. He's going to make you do something in the zone. And when you got that kind of talent with that kind of consistent swing that's consistently in the zone, you're seeing what you're seeing, and that's a guy just using and driving the ball to all parts of the field. It's really it's a special thing.
With Lockridge, what went into the decision to start him tonight, and then kind of what have you seen lately out of his at bats? And was it nice to see him kind of? Yeah, I just think he's taking good at bats. He lined out the other way, a couple nights ago. He's on balls. He can run clearly. He's playing good defense. So his defense is a part of it. Tonight, Hendrick's not overly splitty guy, so we give Locke a shot at it. The guy at the end for them, for Mean was not an overly splitty guy either. So that was part of the equation, but just like in the at-bats overall. So doesn't necessarily mean that's the case, but if the guy's really extreme one way or the other, then it may tip the scales, but he's getting the benefit of the doubt and he's earned it.
What was Manny dealing with in the 8th inning on the bases?
He just rolled his ankle a little bit, and once he got there, got a little bit of time, felt like it was better for him. He didn't seem overly concerned, but we'll clearly monitor it.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 5-1 win for the Padres against the Angels as the Padres take the rubber match of this 3-game set. They win 2 out of 3. From the Angels, Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as we continue to wrap this one up on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show. Let's start with Manny, and good to hear Manny's okay. That was a little scary in the 8th inning where it just looked like Manny might have got his cleat stuck a little bit and rolled his ankle. It was hard to tell what exactly happened, but you got a little bit nervous once the training staff, the athletic training staff, along with Mike Shildt, had to go look at him. But Manny seemingly was okay, stayed in the game, and would end up scoring a run in that inning. So that was good to see Manny stay in the game, looked okay, played the field in the top of the 9th inning. Let's start with Manny, though, because for Manny Machado, I mean, this is becoming, in my mind, and I'm sure many of yours as well, a real story here. Manny is now in the midst of a 14-game hitting streak. He's hitting .340. That's not in the streak. That's overall this season. Manny, here on May 14th, is hitting .340. It's been an interesting offensive season for Manny in a way because the power numbers are probably lower. Not probably, they're lower than where you think they would be. He's got 3 home runs. The OPS is a healthy 900. He does have 14 doubles. So from an OPS standpoint, I mean, let's compare it to 2022 when he was an MVP candidate. He had an 897 OPS. And he's at 900 right now, 3 home runs. But again, the batting average is at 340. His on base is at 410. So Manny's having a really, really, really nice start to the season. The only number that's down by his standards, the 3 home runs. But I got a feeling, I mean, you know, the back of the baseball card with Manny, that those numbers, the home runs, to me, they'll come. You know, whether he ends up in the, 20s or 30 home runs, he always seems to get his numbers. I mean, since 2021 even, you look at it, 28 home runs. Well, let me go even farther back than that. If you go back to 2018, 37 home runs, 2019, 32 home runs, 2020 he had 16, but that was in a 60-game season. 2021, 28 home runs, then 32 home runs, then 30 home runs, then 29 home runs. The point being, the power numbers always seem to be there at the end of the year. But again, 340 in now 150 plus at bats, 410 on base, 900 OPS. Manny's having a really good first month and a half or so. And that average, I mean, it really, really stands out. And the sample size is not particularly small now. We're talking about 150 plus at bats. So Manny, again, in the midst of a 14-game hitting streak, and he's just getting on base and hitting the ball hard and finding ways on. So it's been a different, but in my mind, very impressive start to the season for Manny, who, by the way, had 2 more hits in this game and also had 2 more runs scored. So he's doing a nice job, Manny, for sure, even if the home run numbers are down a little bit in the early part of this season. The bullpen here tonight. This was an interesting night for the bullpen, and we mentioned it briefly on the pregame today. It was going to be an interesting night for the bullpen because Jason Adam had pitched 2 consecutive days. Jeremiah Estrada had pitched 2 consecutive days. And then what do you know? Padres have a 3-1 lead heading to the top of the 7th inning. You look at the part of the order the Angels had up: d'Arnaud, Adele, and Lugo. All righties. So it kind of begged the question, okay, assuming you're not going to Adam, assuming you're not going to Estrada, what righty are you going to? And the guy tonight was Alec Jacob, who came in and did a good job. Did issue a 1-out walk, but then got a big double play ball to get out of that inning. Adrian Morejon comes in the setup role in the 8th inning. Quick and easy, 1-2-3 frame. Morejon used a grand total of 7 pitches. He was great in that 8th inning. And then Robert Suarez comes in what becomes a non-save situation after the Lockridge 2-run single in the bottom of the 8th. And puts together a quick and easy 1-2-3 9th inning. So that was great to see for Robert Suarez. Watch him bounce back in a non-save situation. But the bullpen here tonight, despite having to go a bit of a different path because of Estrada and Adam being unavailable, not only didn't they give up a run, they didn't give up a hit. So that was great to see. And look, we understand, we've been over it a bunch here in the pre and post game. The last 6 games or so, it's been tough for the bullpen. And it hasn't just been the high leverage guys. It hasn't been the more the lower leverage guys. I mean, it's kind of been top to bottom, really, aside from Yuki Matsui. It seems like everybody's had a moment, a rough patch in the last week or so. So no matter who came in out of the bullpen and what was a very tight game, really until the ninth inning, but really throughout this ball game, it was good to see the bullpen have a good night collectively, and they certainly did that as the Padres win it 5-1 to win 2 out of 3. Phone number to call if you want to get involved, 833-288-0973. Again, the phone number, 833-288-0973. Phone number to dial if you want to chime in. Let me know your thoughts about tonight's game. When we come back, we'll tell you about our relief pitcher of the game, our catch of the game. Padres played good defense here tonight. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard and much, much more to do. Final score, Padres 5 and the Angels 1. Our post-game coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Padres winning 5-1 against the Angels on this Wednesday night. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up as the Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Angels. They improve to 27-15 on the year. The Angels drop to 17-25. Still a lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll hear from, or I should say we already heard from Mike Shildt. Who else will we hear from tonight? We might hear from you at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, the phone number to call if you want to get involved. If you would rather get involved on social media, you can do that as well at X, on X, at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. You can also DM me on Instagram at Sammy Lev there as well. You can also comment on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube stream. Hey, you can also DM me on TikTok at Sammy Levitt there, LEVITT. Let me know your thoughts about tonight's game and this win and this series. So I would love to hear from you in any way you would like on this Wednesday evening. Like we said a few times throughout the post-game coverage already, very nice night, really a bounce-back night for the Padres bullpen. Let's tell you about our relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Our relief pitcher of the game here tonight really could go a few different ways with this. So let's go over the candidates. Alec Jacob, the scoreless seventh inning, did issue a one-out walk, got out of it with a double play. And at what that point was a two-run game. Adrian Morejon was great. 7 pitches and a 1-2-3 quick and easy 8th inning. 9th inning, Robert Suarez, a 1-2-3 frame. Nice bounce back for Robert in what was a 4-run game. Non-save situation, and I'm going to go with Adrian Morejon, who I think did a really nice job in what was only a 2-run game at the time. And you also look at the part of the order he had to deal with in this game, had to face Tim Anderson at the bottom of the lineup, but then Zach Neto, who, had a great first couple of games of this series, and then Nolan Shawnuel, who's had a great series as well. So he had to deal with the top 2 in the Angels lineup in a 2-run game where a base runner brings the tying run to the dish. And thought Morejon was very good, quick and easy. 8th inning, he is tonight's relief pitcher of the game. And the good news, a nice bounce back for Adrian, who, you look at it, had that really tough outing last week in New York where he gave up 4 runs on 3 hits, got 1 out in that game. The Padres could not hold the lead in against the Yankees. And then he threw to just 1 batter on Monday night. That was that great diving catch by Jackson Merrill in the 7th inning that at the time preserved the Padres lead. Obviously, Padres would go on to lose that game on Monday with the Angels putting together a 6-run 9th inning. So here tonight was the first clean inning, full inning that Adrian pitched since pitching in New York where he had the really rough outing. So very good to see Adrian bounce back here tonight with a very clean 1-2-3 8th inning. Padres played solid defense in this game. There was a key moment in the 7th inning. Let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
2-1 after the mound visit. Jacob delivers. Lugo swings, hits it on one. Weird hop to Cronenworth. He will tag the runner Adele for the first in time and a double play. And had some funky English on it, but Cronenworth makes the play to end the inning.
Really nice play by Jake Cronenworth in the 7th inning. Big double play with the tying run at the plate. And Matthew Lugo had a home run earlier in this series. Jake fielding it, tagging out the runner, getting it to first base in plenty of time for a double play to end the inning. Helped Alec Jacob through that 7th inning. Kept the Padres ahead 3-1. Nice defensive play. That is our play of the game. Also should mention that Xander Bogaerts had a really nice play in the 6th inning on a hard hit ball off the bat of Taylor Ward. Same situation with Ward representing the tying run at the plate. Jorge Soler on first base. It was hit hard and kind of got Xander on a short hop. Made a nice pick on it, got it to second base. So back-to-back innings, some pretty nice defense by the Padres middle infield to end a couple of innings for the Angels. Let's step aside. When we come back, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll hear from Xander Bogaerts again, and it is your chance, your final chance, to get a phone call in. 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. The phone number, maybe you're listening, watching at home. Maybe you're on the way home from the game. Maybe you were part of the 44,000 in the building here tonight. Would love to hear from you. Either way, Padres win it 5-1 against the Angels. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues after these words.
You're listening to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show.
Our post-game coverage continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, the Padres 5 and the Angels 1, as the Padres improved to 27-15 on the season. Angels dropped to 17-25. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard in just a little bit. We'll also hear our play of the game. We'll hear from Xander Bogaerts one more time before we wrap things up as well. But let's quickly go to the phones, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, the phone number to call. All right, I have a Tim and a Timothy on our call board. So how am I going to differentiate Tim and Timothy? Let's start with Tim. Tim calling in. If you go by Tim, not Timothy, Tim, you're on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome in.
Howdy.
Hey, Tim.
You're the best, Sammy. But my wife would say it's a sandwich, not a Sammy witch.
Okay. a sandwich?
Sandwich. I have a couple of comments. I'm a baseball fan. I'm an old fart, but I go back to Padre land of Steve Garvey and our first World Series and Tony Gwynn and all that magic, and keep the faith. There's some magic going on here, and Robert Suarez with our friend Trevor Hoffman has learned the changeup. So I think we need to lock him up.
Yeah, well, look, Robert, and appreciate the call, Tim. Robert has an option in his contract at the end of this season. I believe it's a player option. Player option for next season. So, it's going to be interesting with Robert. And to be honest with you, Tim, and I appreciate the question, but this isn't necessarily that at top of mind here on May 14th. Robert has a player option on his deal for next year, so it's going to be interesting. He's 31 years old. I'm sorry, excuse me. He's 34 years old. It'll be interesting to see. It's going to depend on what Robert's season is this year in its totality. What the market is for him, what, Robert and his agent feel the market is. But it is something just to note. There is a player option for next year and for 27 as well. So if Robert wants to be a free agent at the end of the year, he's going to have the opportunity to do that. And he and his representation are going to have to assess what the market is and balance that against the player option. And it will probably have a lot to do with the season he has and its totality. If he keeps pitching like the way he's pitched, aside from Monday night, he may have a case to be a free agent at the end of the year. But it also obviously depends on what the market is and what the going rates for closers are and how teams feel about them. But it is something to note, Tim. And remember, the Padres did bring him here and then give him an extension. So they did a good job keeping him here, setting up a closer in waiting, even when Josh Hader was here. But it is just something to note. And I'm sure, there are people out there that don't even realize it, that he does have a player option for next year. All right, we went to Tim. Let's go to Timothy. So if you are the Tim that we didn't go to, you are now on the air. Timothy, go ahead.
Sounds like me, Sammy. Is that right?
All right. Oh, it's you. You're live on the radio.
All right. I want to raise a question. You're talking about Manny and his batting average, and I agree. 340 at this point is pretty amazing. Concern I've got, and I don't have the stats, as to what his batting average is with runners in scoring position. It was interesting. We were at the game last night, and I was kind of looking online. Sheets has more RBIs than Manny does with 1/3 less at-bats. And I've been wondering if Manny's production with runners in scoring position is down this year. Seems like he's over trying to swing, and I'm just curious what his stats are this year.
Timothy, I'm going to pose to you a question. If you had to guess what Manny's batting average is with runners in scoring position, what would you think?
I guess, 270, maybe something like that, 260.
Timothy, what if I told you that his average with runners in scoring position at the end of tonight is 395.
Holy cow. So it's just the home run issue is he's not getting the RBIs that he might normally get. Is that kind of what's driving these RBIs?
And appreciate the phone call. And it's a fair question. And I'm happy to bring it up because we've had this discussion a couple of times on the post-game show. As of late, I said it a handful of nights ago at some point on the road trip. I feel like there are people out there that are like, oh, Manny's not hitting with runners in scoring position. And then you go look up the numbers, and he's hitting 395 in 38 at-bats with runners in scoring position this season. He's hitting almost 400. And guess what? Scoring position in 2 outs, he's hitting 500. He's hitting 340. So, other than the home run numbers being down, I mean, Manny's putting together a really good first month and a half of the season. Again, he's at 340. The on-base percentage is above 400. The OPS is 900. And again, everybody's batting 395 with runners in scoring position. Maybe he doesn't feel like that because he's not hitting as many home runs. I don't know, because this is the second, third time in the last week and a half that we've kind of had this discussion on the post game, but he's hitting 395 with runners in scoring position. So just by the average, he's been very, very good in those situations. So I'm glad Timothy brought it up because it gives me an opportunity to point out the number to all our listeners and viewers, because it really is kind of an astounding number at 395 and 38 at bats. But it's not that surprising because he's hitting 340 overall, which, obviously from a career standpoint is, way, way higher than what his career average is for as great as Manny is. He's on a Hall of Fame track. Keep in mind, he's a career 280 hitter, which is great when you have the power and the OPS that Manny typically has. But it's, put it this way, for Manny, it's been a really good but interesting first month and a half because the average is so high, but the home runs are down, and he has 20 RBIs. And look, to your point, Timothy, it is, it is interesting, if you compare him to a sheet. So you're right, does have more RBIs than Manny. I'd have to really dig in and focus on it to figure out why that is. But when he's had opportunities, he's done a good job as far as batting average. Great job at nearly 400 with runners in scoring position. All right, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what's going on tonight around the major leagues.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard tonight. We had a couple of doubleheaders in the majors. The Twins swept the doubleheader from the Orioles 6-3. They won Game 1. It was an 8-6 win for Minnesota in Game 2. Cody Clemens, a home run in Game 2 of that doubleheader in Baltimore. By the way, the Orioles, after losing 2 games today, they're now 15-25. My goodness, that's supposed to be a good young team. 15-25. It has been rough in Baltimore so far this year. Doubleheader in Philadelphia today. Phillies won Game 1 of that doubleheader 2-1. Game 2, the Cardinals won 14-7. So the Phillies and Cards split a doubleheader in Philadelphia. Brewers beat the Guardians 9-5 in Cleveland. Diamondbacks beat the Giants 8-7 in San Francisco. Yankees beat the Mariners 3-2 in Seattle. Aaron Judge's 15th home run of the season for the Yanks in that one. Tigers beat the Red Sox 6-5 in Detroit. Justin Henry Malloy hit a walk-off single in the bottom half of the 9th inning to win it for the Tigers. Talk about a team playing well. Tigers are 29-15. That is the best record in Major League Baseball. Blue Jays beat the Rays 3-1 in Toronto. Alejandro Kirk, a home run in that game for the Blue Jays. Pirates beat the Mets 4-0 in New York. Jared Triolo hit a home run in that game for the Pirates. White Sox beat the Reds 4-2 in Cincinnati. Lenin Sosa, a home run in that game for the Sox. Nationals beat the Braves 5-4 in Atlanta. Marlins beat the Cubs at Wrigley 3-1. Kyle Stowers, a couple of home runs in that game for the Fish. Rangers beat the Rockies 8-3 in Arlington. Astros beat the Royals 4-3 in Houston. And finally, Dodgers beat the A's 9-3 in LA tonight. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Wednesday. And by the way, with the Dodgers and Padres both winning, Dodgers 28-15 and Padres 27-15. So the Padres do remain a half game behind the LA Dodgers for first place in the NL West, so they keep pace with them. Giants losing today, they drop another game. So right now the Padres, and again, we're very, very early for standings watch, but hey, division is playing so well right now that I do feel like you want to keep just a quick eye on it. Giants now 3 games behind the Padres. They're 3.5 out of first place in the NL West. The Diamondbacks now sitting at 23-21. They're 5.5 out of first place. And again, it is mid-May. Not going to get too worked up about the standings, but the Padres, at least early on, continue to keep pace with the Dodgers on most nights here. Padres win it 5-1 against the Angels. Let's hear tonight's play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
3-2, Bogaerts swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. This one way back, gonna go! 3-run homer, Xander Bogaerts. And the Padres take a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the first.
Xander Bogaerts, a 3-run home run in the first inning, and the Padres pitching staff made it stand up. Padres would get 2 more runs in the 8th, and that would be it as they go on to win it 5-1 for Xander. His 3rd home run of the season, a 9-pitch battle against Kyle Hendricks, and he hit it out to left field and set the tone early, gave the Padres an early 3-0 lead. That's tonight's play of the game. I caught up with Xander Bogaerts on the field right after tonight's 5-1 win.
Xander, let's start with the home run, a 9-pitch at bat against the right-hander in Kyle Hendricks that pitches a little bit differently than most guys in Major League Baseball right now. How were you able to win that at bat?
I think I saw a lot of his pitches, his fastball and changeup. The other bats, he started bringing out the curveball a little bit more, but that bat in particular, I just think I saw a lot of his pitches, and I was on time and reacted pretty well.
Randy Vasquez, 6 strong innings in this game. How have you seen Randy's development over the course of the past couple of years?
I mean, especially when he falls behind in the count he seems to find a way to come back in the count. 3-0 count today to Darno and 3-1 strike and then pop up, to short. So I feel like he's just been able to, regardless if maybe he's not having his best stuff, just being able to try to execute the best as possible.
A really tough loss on Monday night, but you find a way to bounce back. 2 straight wins to win this series against the Angels. What is the significance of bouncing back the way you did after what was a rough Monday?
Yeah, these guys battle, they probably aren't playing the way they would want, but they show a lot of fight, for a team that maybe is not playing the way they want to. They show a real lot of fight, and I guess one of the best goals in the game. They did that. They were very patient. They were waiting for the pitches, and they had a good win. But, yeah, we won the series, and that's all that matters.
Xander, as always, thanks so much. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Xander.
That was Xander Bogaerts after tonight's 5-1 win against the Angels. Xander, again, hitting his 3rd home run of the season, and the Padres go on to win this game 5-1. So what's next for the Padres? Well, an off day tomorrow, so I hope everybody enjoys the off day. Padres will enjoy the rare home and home off day here in San Diego, so that's very good. Padres will enjoy it here in America's finest city, which I'm sure they appreciate. As far as yours truly, if you're wondering about me, not that you necessarily are, I'll be going to the dentist tomorrow morning. So that's how I'm enjoying my off day tomorrow. The dentist bright and early. I got a 7 a.m. dentist appointment. So if you're sitting around enjoying your morning coffee, kind of a slow start to the morning, you can think about me at 7 a.m. on an off day in the dentist chair. That's where I'll be tomorrow morning. As far as the Padres, they return to action on Friday, 6:40 p.m. Game 1 of a 3-game series against the Mariners. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Right-hander Stephen Kolek on the mound for the Padres. And right now it is TBD, to be announced or to be decided for the Mariners as far as their starter on Friday. So keep yourself posted to social media, to Padres.com. for information on who the Mariners do officially announce as a starter. But again, right-hander Stephen Kolek coming off that complete game shutout in Colorado over the weekend. He'll start on Friday for the Padres. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Odyssey app, available, to the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast, or you can also watch any portion of our post-game coverage on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight as the Padres win 2 out of 3 from the Angels. For the Padres, 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left on 8. For the Angels, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error. They left on 4. Winning pitcher tonight, Randy Vasquez improves to 3-3. Losing pitcher Kyle Hendricks drops to 1-5. Time of game, 2 hours and 21 minutes. And the crowd at Petco Park tonight, already the 18th sellout of 2025, 43,766. Once again, day off tomorrow. We're back with you on Friday. First pitch at 6:40. Our pregame coverage from Petco Park begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Jeff Hamby, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night. Again, the final score here tonight, the San Diego Padres 5 and the Los Angeles Angels 1. We'll talk to you on Friday on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hi, this is Michael King. The Padres play here on San Diego's #1 station, 97.3 The Fan.
An Odyssey Sports Station.